So this is the road to the Slesse Creek Trail where we're going to start off. This is the second ordnance range, and we were going to actually go down here just to the bridge and fly the drone up Slesse River, but that's probably not a good idea because I didn't know that this specific area was D&D property, so I don't think I want to go. It's a nice warning there that the land is used for training with explosives and anyone who enters may suffer injury or death. So we're going to skip that and just head down this way, and we'll start prospecting. Just on McFarland Creek here, having a quick look. Got a couple waterfalls up there. We're going to have to try and make it around those. I'm seeing lots of slate, quartz cutting through, lots of oxidation on the slates, some volcanics too. We've got some very interesting rocks here. So let's see what we can find in the first stretch of this creek. So, typical rock float you find in the creek, also in bedrock up there, looks like this, and you can see there's disseminated iron pyrite throughout a lot of this. Pretty much every sample you hammer open, you have some form of mineralization, whether it be disseminated pyrite or small micro stringers under 1 millimeter wide. And that's pretty much every rock I've hammered so far in this creek. So I'm at this little portion of bedrock here on the side of the creek. And as you can see, pyritization. There's definitely quartz associated with this. And this whole area over here is mineralized. So here's some samples that I've hammered off. Just the bedrock here. You can see quartz, stringers, this is all over the place. See all the bedrock here? All of this is all mineralized going up. You can see the quartz all the way through here. Quartz vein running down there. Everything you hammer is mineralized. It's a very interesting area. So I'm finding lots of this float in the creek. You have big boulders here, extremely weathered, and there's a lot of pyrite. So these are pieces off this boulder here, but there's hundreds and hundreds of these. It looks like there's some quartz associated with this. And this is your slate, of course, which is also mineralized. Here's a few of the samples. This is all from bedrock here. Pretty typical of what you see in the first 100 meters. Essentially every fracture you see in the rock, or every cleavage point, you see mineralization pretty much wherever there's quartz too. So far we've identified 100-meter wide area going up this creek where you see all this mineralization. There's not as much exposed a little farther up past the third waterfall, and it's really difficult to get out and up around. You can see up there, that is basically just a steep mountain face right beside it. So the trouble is, it's warm today, and it's supposed to be warm tomorrow, and the water is flowing a lot more than it was a couple weeks ago because all the snow in the mountains are melting now. So this is definitely one we got to wait till the middle of the summer to get up farther on and to get a better look at. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on down, follow the Slesse Creek Trail, and hit another creek out. Walking up Slesse Creek Trail now. Bunch of sloughed rock. See two kinds of rock. You see all these float rocks of granite, granodiorite. Then you see rocks like this and like this, which are angular, coming out all up in there, and those are similar to the creek we were just in, McFarland Creek. You can see all the angular rocks, which means this is likely the bedrock running underneath here too, on strike of the mineralization down in the creek. It's pretty apparent between the last creek and here that same mineralization, same rock type. All this granitic rock is float rock from above. All the slate pyritization is mineralized. That's angular. And we've come across first outcrop here. As you can see, high sulfur content. And this is again your slate. So we're going to take a couple samples from this. This is a 15-meter wide exposure. So far we're seeing similar mineralization to what's in the creek. So we're on the next main creek here. Bedrock and float rocks, very similar to the first one. Almost identical. You got your mineralized pyritized slates. You got your granites and granodiorite float boulders which look like they've come from way up on the mountain somewhere. And this is your bedrock here. Very mineralized. Quartz veins cutting through. So we're going to take a sample or two. You can see the quartz there. A few samples that I've gathered here from bedrock. You can see the iron pyrite there, following the quartz, and looks like a siliceous patch. Looks like a little sphalerite in that one. This fine stuff down here, that is molybdenite. Here's another piece. So you can see here, you have more mineralized bedrock exposed in the creek. And this goes all the way up there, as far as J2's gone, just up to the little waterfall. There's lots of mineralized rocks everywhere. So we are on another creek bed here. It's about 3 to 5 meters wide, depending where you are on the creek bed. It's pretty much dry other than the occasional little pool of water. And we're going to get some samples from bedrock down there. There's some bedrock on the side there. And they're going to go down to Slesse Creek, which is about 125 to 150 meters down. And then we are going to walk up here a little bit and do a little sampling of some float rock. There is some bedrock exposed in a few areas that we've seen. And these are the mountain views. There's a ton more float in the creek here that look like this. Your slate with quartz that's so deteriorated. We're going to take a sample, float sample from the creek. We're going to take a sample from bedrock. Bedrock pretty much looks exactly like this. So this bank along here is loaded with these mineralized samples. Found a boulder that had quartz attached to it. You have a little bit of pyrite in here. And a tiny amount of chalcopyrite. You can see over here, right now we got an avalanche going on. It's been going on for a couple minutes. So we're along Slesse Creek Trail right now, and this is the other side of the river. The river's down there. You can see all this. This whole bank, all the way from the top to the bottom, is the same stuff. Same kind of rock you see in the creeks we were just at. We got outcrop up here for a span of 50 meters. Lots of float rocks down here. We're going to take a sample or two. You can see all the bedrock here. There's a creek down there. Again, lots of oxidation on the rocks. Samples in the creek. Mineralized. We got pyrite. Found disseminated and as patches. We got a sample here of quartz with a bit of chalcopyrite. So we just came out of a boulder field, found a bunch of rocks that look like this. Some mineralization in there. We're gonna break this open and see if there's anything inside. It's an interesting layer there on the rock. Iridescent color. So we're finally on Canyon Creek here. You can see up here, this whole mountainside right here is all full of oxidation. It's just orange and red. You can see it from Google Earth. If you look on a Google Earth map, it's supposed to be an adit somewhere along this on the side here. I don't know if we're gonna find it, but those two are gonna have a look. I'm gonna sample some bedrock down here, and we found some creek float samples that are already nice. Lots of pyrite and pyrrhotite in here. This right here is mica with quartz. Lots of quartz here. We're going to take a bunch of samples, see what we get out of this area. Side of Canyon Creek, you can see same mineralized rocks as you see in all the previous creeks. We got J2 up there by those big house-sized boulders. There's a lot of water coming down because of all the heat we're having today. Everything's melting, so a lot more water than usual. We'll see how far they get and what they find. Well, what do we have here? Well, we got a crew going up the river, or up the creek, to try and find the adit. I found it. How far do I let them go before I tell them I've already found it? This was very, very hidden. I'm gonna try and get a better look, but it's a little sketchy. It's an incline. So one last thing, this is actually where some of the mines are, the Lone Jack Red Mountain mine, and just over there is the US side. And what they had to do is they had to come into Canada to get to the mines in the US because they had to climb over this peak otherwise, which was pretty much impossible. So one of the samples up past this boulder that we found, quartz, chalcopyrite, and pyrite. Nice sample here. That's above the old workings, so more mineralization up there. So this is essentially the mineralization you're looking for. This was from the mouth of the adit. Pyritization's really dense sample. Minor chalcopyrite. So it's 4 o'clock. We got a 5-kilometer hike out of here. So we're gonna head out, and we'll see you at the next video. Have a good one. For more information about Kermode Resources mineral properties, visit www.kermoderesources.com.